Hi guys, welcome back to Kelvin's Kitchen. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. On today's episode, we're making lobster mac and cheese. Imagine an already amazing mac and cheese recipe plus lobster. Lobster mac and cheese coming up. For this recipe, we are using 3 lobster tails. They are about 5 ounces each. With a very sharp knife, we're going to cut them in half. And just like shrimp, look to see if there is a vein inside. If there is, just go ahead and remove it. And my lobster is looking pretty clean. At this point, all the lobsters have been cut in half and there is no icky looking stuff. We're going to partially cook these. Here I have a skillet set to high heat with a little bit of vegetable oil. And we're going to sear those for about 2 minutes per side. And we're not trying to cook it through. We just want some color on the lobster meat. This is going to intensify the flavor a bit. Give them a couple of minutes and we'll flip them over. Give that shell side a couple of more minutes. And like I just said, we're not cooking this all the way. We want the lobster to finish cooking inside the mac and cheese for extra flavor and moisture. Now turn off your heat. And into the pan, we're going to throw 2 tablespoons of butter, which of course is going to melt in that hot pan. And once it does, we turn the heat back to medium, add in 2 tablespoons of flour to make a roux. Stir in that flour. We're going to cook for about a minute or so to take the raw edge off. And as we're doing that roux is kind of deglating the bottom of the pan and releasing all the flavor of the lobster bits. Pour in 1.5 cup of cold milk. Cold milk, hot roux, no lumps. We stir that in until everything has been incorporated, and we're going to keep it on medium heat until you see it that it starts to simmer. Once you see that it starts to boil and start to thicken, bring the fire to low and we're going to add some more stuff. Add in half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, stir that in, and besides flavor, this is going to give this dish more of a lobster color. Add in a pinch of nutmeg, stir that in, and make sure your stove is on the lowest heat setting. We're going to let it cook for another 2 to 3 more minutes. The base of our cheese sauce is almost done. The lobster tails are now cool to the touch and ready to be pulled apart. And to do that, just get your fingers between the meat and the shell and start pulling apart. And do not get rid of the shells, we have planned for those. We're going to put them in the water we're going to cook our pasta in, which, believe it or not, is going to add a little bit of flavor. Add the shells to the water and half teaspoon of kosher salt. Let the water come to a boil because it's almost time to cook our macaroni. All we need, of course, is some cooked macaroni. Pour 1 cup of macaroni in the lobster's salted water. Cook the pasta as per direction on the package. Some people like to undercook it a bit, but I don't. I like to cook it till the same doneness as the way I'm going to eat it. I hear that underdone is okay, but you don't want it too underdone, otherwise it's going to suck up all your liquid. So our pasta water is set, our lobster meat is set. Now it's time to finish off this cheese sauce. which, as you remember, it has been sitting here just on low heat. Add in 1/8 of a teaspoon of kosher salt or to taste. Add in 1 cup of grated sharp white cheddar cheese, followed by 1/3 of a cup of Gruyere cheese. Stir that in and let the cheese melt. Now that the cheese has melted, we're going to turn the heat off. You never want a cheese sauce to simmer. 1/8 of a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Stir that in, and basically this is done. Our pasta is done. Go ahead and take the shells out so they don't get in our way when we're transferring the pasta over. But don't throw them away. We're going to use them to garnish later. Transfer the macaroni into the cheese sauce, and that's okay if some of the water comes with it. That's a good thing. Go ahead and mix it around, and at this point you're probably thinking, that's a lot of sauce. Do we need that much sauce? Yes, you do. If it's not really saucy at this point, your final product is going to be really dry. And one last touch, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of thyme leaves. You don't want to overpower this dish with too many herbs, so just a little hint. Now, we're cutting the lobster meat into chunks, not too small though. We want to make sure that we're biting into lobster. Now, transfer the mac and cheese to 2 oven-safe dishes. As you can see, this makes 2 large portions, and we're going to top it with our chopped lobster. We're going to top this with butter, Parmesan breadcrumbs. And for that, all we need is 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, and 2 tablespoons of grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Now we give that a mix. Very simple ingredients, but very effective. Scatter the lobster meat on top and make sure we have the same amount in each. And by same amount, I mean your significant other gets a little more than you. Now with a fork, poke it down a bit. We want to insulate it a bit. Now we spread it over the top, not a super thick layer, but we want full coverage. Spread it around as even as you can. We want that breadcrumb layer to become one with the mac and cheese. And at this point, we are transferring to the center of our 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Or until it looks like something like this. Let it cool off for a few minutes as it is extremely hot. And those lobster shells that I asked you to save, now we're going to use them to garnish our dish. Check it out. That looks amazing. This looks amazing, smells amazing, and more importantly, tastes amazing, which we're going to check that right now. And it really tastes fantastic. I mean, lobster aside, this is a really good mac and cheese recipe. But when you add chunks of lobster meat, this goes to a whole new level. I really hope you guys give this a try. And there you guys have it, lobster and mac and cheese. Enjoy! If you guys enjoyed this recipe, please consider subscribing. Leave me some comments down below, give it a thumbs up, and YouTube wants you to watch that recipe and that recipe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, thanks for watching.